life processes are similar in all animals with backbones. So physiologists can find out a lot about the human body by studying animals such as frogs, rats and rabbits. Sometimes research involves the death of these animals. But physiologists take great care not to hurt the animals. Magellan is a Portuguese navigator who shared the idea of Christopher Columbus and others that the Far East could be reached by sailing westward. He embarked from Spain in August 1519 with a fleet of 5 ships, sailed southward down the coast of South America and reached the Pacific Ocean through the strait named after him. The most dangerous animals on the North American continent, by a margin of 1,000 to 1, are not bears, mountain lions or wolves but poisonous snakes. Attacks occur far more frequently than most people suspect. 6,500 to 7,000 humans are bitten by venomous snakes in the United States each year. Fortunately, the death rate from snakebite is low, largely because of widespread knowledge about snakes and the fact that in most cases treatment is prompt. Alcohol consumption may be linked to a women's risk of infertility, say researchers supported by the National Institute of Child Health. In a study of nearly 6,000 women, researchers from the Harvard School of Public Health looked at data from those evaluated at 7 infertility clinics. Over the past 30 years or so, the quality of many people's lives has deteriorated in some respects because of technological progress. Those people living near airports are constantly assailed by the noise of increasingly larger and more powerful jet aircraft taking off and landing. Earthquake is a sudden movement in Earth's crust which produces vibration. These vibrations may be detectable only by sensitive instruments called seismographs, or else they may kill thousands as they destroy cities. Many earthquakes are caused when rocks move along faults. One can write notes either in the novel he or she is reading or in a separate notebook. The advantage of the former method is that it doesn't disturb one's reading too much. Disadvantage is that it spoils a book. It affects one's second reading of the novel. There is not always too much room for the notes in the book. The novel develops after the death of Defoe, with S. Richardson (1689–1761), a professional printer who took novel writing when he was 50. Richardson liked to help young women with the composition of their love letters and was asked by a publisher to write a volume of model letters for use on various occasions. Aristotle, who lived from 384 BC to 322 BC, taught that the heart contained the intelligence. Except for a few guesses like this, he observed carefully. He described the habits and the bodily structure, anatomy, of many animals, birds and fish. Another Greek, Galen, who lived in the 2nd century AD, performed biological experiments. Rousseau, 1712–78, was one of the forerunners of the Romantic movement, and also one of the prophets of the French Revolution. He was by nature a rebel against existing conceptions of religion, art, education, marriage, government, and in book after book he propounded his own theories on these subjects. Rousseau advocated a return to nature. Our demand for electricity is climbing so fast that over the next decade our generating capacity must increase by a third. Fossil fuels supply nearly 3/4 of this energy. But the smoke-expelling coal, gas, and oil-fired plants are also responsible for half of our air pollution. That might be considered as a small price to pay for progress. Often mistaken for insects, spiders actually belong to a different classification of creatures, called arachnids. They're insects' worst enemies. Although a few species, such as the black widow and the brown recluse, are dangerous, the majority are harmless to humans. Moreover, they can be helpful. Homer was a Greek epic poet. Both the date and the place of his birth and death are not known precisely, but recent research suggests a date between 1050 and 800 BC. It has even been claimed that no such man as Homer existed and that the Iliad and the Odyssey are collections of traditional ballads and not the work of one man. Can you imagine a deaf woman writing stories about a war? Well, Laura Redden Searing did this. Moreover, she went to foreign countries to write stories. She was very ill when she was 11 years old. Because of this, she lost her hearing. She went to the Missouri School for the Deaf. Laura was 19 years old when she went to work for a newspaper. Sometimes an animal copes with a changed situation, not by adapting to it, but by moving away from it to another location. There, it may still have to adapt, but the type of adaptation may be easier. There are primitive races of man that have attempted to avoid the pressures or changes that civilization brings. They have had to adjust to living in remote or harsh conditions. When he died on November 27, 1953, Gladstone O'Neill was universally recognized as one of the major dramatists of the modern world. 4 times a Pulitzer Prize winner, he had also been awarded the 1936 Nobel Prize for Literature. His plays have been translated into most major languages and read by more people than those of any other playwright except W. Shakespeare and maybe G. Barnard Shaw. Early man know about the natural fire of lightning and volcanoes long before he began to use fire himself. He didn't know what fire was, but he had seen the damage it could cause. Fire was powerful and dangerous, and so he was frightened. Greek legend tells how Prometheus stole fire from god Zeus, and brought it to earth for man to use. Albert Einstein was born in 1879 in the German city of Ulm. He was no prodigy as infant. In fact, he was so late to speak that his parents were concerned he was a fool. In school, his teachers saw no special talent in him, though the signs of his intelligence were there. Mahalia Jackson was born into a preacher's family in 1911, and she grew up in a riverfront shanty in New Orleans. She was motherless at 5, working as a maid and loudness in her mid-teens. As a little girl, she would whisper to herself before she went to sleep, "Someday the sun is going to shine down on me in some faraway place." A group of researchers has demonstrated that pleasure and positive states of mind are better for our health. This new intellectual approach to health is not only more powerful, but also has no side effects. Central to this claim are recent findings that even getting an education may add as much as 10 years to your health.